recap. Let's do it. So, we did take two trades today. The second one was janky. We shouldn't have taken that one, but we did. That was the $1,000 loss. This was break even on the day. We're up in a little bit of profit, but let's recap it. Both buys on Nas. This I was testing out contract size. This I placed 2 contracts. This one I placed 3. I'm still learning the contracts, still trying to figure it out. But I realized I don't think you're supposed to place 3 contracts with an SO that tight. I don't know. I don't usually use an SO that tight. I didn't have a validating SO anywhere on that. I was just taking the trade just to see. But let's actually go into what was happening on the macro time frame. Okay, so right here in the morning, we were retracing into this daily fair value gap right here. Bam, retracing to this, started pushing to the upside. We were pushing bearish originally after retracing into this 4-hour order block, but I was still bullish, seeing the retracing into the hourly imbalance right there. When we retraced into that hourly imbalance, we also validated this 15-minute imbalance, chopping on the 5-minute. That's where I scaled down, executed essentially on the 5-minute break of structure to the upside. Was around here-ish. It was around here. 5-minute break of structure was here. This wasn't 5-minute break of structure. 5-minute break of structure was actually around here. Executed right before that. Price retrace into this. It'll showcase that minute for value gap. Validated it. Continue pushing to the upside. Change of character was there. Imbalance was right there, which we ended up invalidating. It was either 5 or 15. 5. We ended up invalidating, pushing to the upside. Our target was the 50%. Our first target was 50% of this hourly fair value gap. Did not reach that. Price pushed back to the downside. Started chopping on 5-minute before it swept out liquidity. We were not part of the sweep. Stops for our break even. Price retraced back into this 5-minute order block. Validated it again. Pushed back to the upside, hitting this 50% EQ. That's where we entered and essentially executed. You'll see in the little recording, we said we were going to sit there on the charts for a bit. I should already acknowledge mentally that we were already clocked out after that one trade. I typically never take 2 trades. You'll never see me take 2 trades. It's not normal, especially like later in the day. And I mean, this trade this wasn't the best trade. That's all I could say. We knew better not to take this trade, but we were like, you know what? We already swept out lows. We have the potential to continue going higher. So we ended up executing on it. This moved on really, really fast. Exited right as it hit $1,000 in loss, because didn't want to lose more than that on the day. My risk was around 1,500, so I sat there for a minute, recollected my thoughts, and broke down. Okay, so our typical risk for contract size is going to be from 2 all the way, or really from 2 to 15 micros. So 2 minis to 15 micros is that sweet spot of $1,000 risk, and like 700 ish, like 5, 6, 700 ish. And so that was essentially the trades for the day. What can we take away from this? Of course, we've already learned this, never to enter at the end of a rally, but also to always have the validating stop loss. Like, that's the most important thing. I felt the most comfortable with this trade. You'll see if you watch the live recording, link in the description, because we had such a validating stop loss. This trade was more so of an impulse trade. I realized really you are your own worst enemy within trading. That's how it is. It really, really, really is like that. But as long as you're able to go in and analyze, okay, what you did wrong, and journal and properly recap, you can go in on the day and, look for improvement on the next day. I'm not going to lie, I did have impulse after this. Now I know to never take 2 trades again. I did have impulse to go in over trade, to over risk in order to make that $1,000 back, but I had to, hold myself back. I haven't had any emotions like that in a really, really long time, but obviously, especially, I understand my own personal circumstance with everything that's going on right now, so I understand that, but I have to be more mature. So the question is, okay, how do we ensure that this impulse doesn't come back? Execute 1 trade a day. 1 trade a day is all you need, and that's how I plan on going into the market, continuing to execute 1 trade. shoot, maybe if there's another A plus trade, maybe in the same time frame or whatever the case is, or I'm scaling in positions or scaling out of positions, cool, right? That's fine. But typically, especially like later within the day after 11:30, it gets kind of choppy in the sense of like not price action, but like my mental clarity of price, especially after you've already taken a trade, you've already exited at break even on the day. Your mind's like, okay, we're done. So that was my takeaway from today. Was overall bullish bias on Nas. Want to see a close above these daily highs to be bullish tomorrow. Gold didn't provide anything as of today. Gold is really just sitting there chopping like it has been for the past 3 weeks. So I'm going to continue looking at NQ. Beautiful buys on NQ, or at least here. This was kind of janky. This I was just plotting to sell contract size. But this was a pretty execution. It was nice execution. This was on the challenge account, the combine eval. So currently the P&L for that, we are $1,000 in drawdown. Our max loss is 4,500 until we either reset or just essentially lose the account. We are risking like 1,000 per trade. I don't know what percent that is. It needs to update. The trading thing it needs to update so I can actually see, but we have our understanding of where we're actually looking to, how many contracts we're looking to place per trade. But apart from that, that was a trade recap for the day. Hope you guys went and kill the market. Go and learn from your mistakes if you didn't, and learn to see what triggers your psychological tendencies, your negative psychological tendencies, and learn how to adopt your trading strategy so those don't go off. For me in my example, they did go off. But apart from that, that's the trade recap for the day. I love you guys, and I will see you in the next trade recap. Watch the unlisted one. It's going to be like 2 hours long. It's long, but you'll see our first execution. Apart from that, adios. Oh, wait. Yeah, I already said what we executed this off of. Anyways, bye-bye. Did I say what we executed? Yeah, I did. Okay.